Tom Lavecchia here with the latest edition of the New Theory podcast. You're accustomed to getting interviews, content with very successful entrepreneurs, dynamic entrepreneurs, and today's guest is no exception. He is Edgar Vitari. Edgar is the entrepreneur co-founder of Suave premium tequila from the highlands of Mexico. He prides himself as it's a handmade single 100% agave with no industrial intervention processes, using ancestral production methods. I'm interested to hear about that. It's an award-winning tequila, and actually USA Spirits Tequila of the Year in 2020. He's got a good story behind him. And without further ado, Edgar, welcome to the New Theory podcast. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, Tom. Thank you so much for having me. Doing well, and yourself?
I'm well. So give us like your journey. Where did you kind of start to get the entrepreneurial bug? Was it a family thing? And I'd love to hear how you got into tequila.
Exactly. Yes. So yeah, coming from the state of Jalisco here in Mexico, it's tequila land. So nice. by natural law, we're all tequila lovers around here. Nice. So basically, my family, a long time ago, they've loved sipping tequila. It's just a very cultural thing around the area. So tequila itself, what is it? It's a product that we pride on. It's very cultural, very local to Jalisco. And you can roam around in the villages and you'll see people producing their own agave distillates on the side of the roads. Nice. So basically, there was a huge push by my family, to start our own brand. Basically, remember, the product that we've drank for quite a lot of years now, considering my grandparents and their forefathers as well. Big tequila culture around the area. So that's how it came to be. We started drafting the project itself, and we basically just wanted to shoot for something very natural, very, very root oriented, considering how the industry has changed over the years. So this is how we came to be, Suave tequila. We wanted to make a product that was really smooth on the palate, very suave, as the word suggests.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been slow and steady. It's been a quite successful amount of years so far, but.
Now, the tequila market is growing exponentially. I was doing a little research on it. I don't know the exact number, but it's pretty much booming. And you have like influences like George Clooney, who had a brand. I think The Rock got into it. A few of the big celebrities, the celebrity kind of tie-in grew it.
Exactly.
Usually, it was used as a mixer or as a shot. Now Americans are adopting its traditional form, which is make it sipping. Which leads it towards being more kind of, it was always socially acceptable. But what I'm getting at is when I thought of tequila growing up, it was either shots or mix it in a margarita. But now people are using it like a scotch, like a bourbon, etc. So I'm really interested in okay, so you said, hey, we're going to do a brand. Did you launch in the Mexican market and then the U.S., or did you target the U.S. market first, or any other market for that matter?
Exactly, yes. So we actually started in the U.S. market. We entered the Mexican market a couple of years after, and right now currently we have presence in the UK, the US, and Mexico, and we did have a client in Asia as well, but the little bit of differences, the target we were shooting for was not exactly what they were looking for, so we decided to pull back from that market for the time being, and we're currently in talks with Canadian market as well.
Okay, so the spirits market is notorious for having a high barrier to entry. You could have a great product, but you need distributorship, you need marketing dollars to pull it through. You need a presence. You have to pay to get on a shelf, and if it's on the shelf, it better move. Did you focus on a certain area? Did you get give us the first thing? Did you secure distributorship and then retail outlets, or did you get a retail chain? Give us the first launch. What was the strategy, and how did you take it?
Yeah, so something that's key to expanding your brand, especially in the beverage industry, you want your consumers to taste the product first.
Correct.
Usually, people, especially if it's an expensive brand, they wouldn't pay a 30, 40, maybe even 50% markup on a product they don't know yet.
Correct.
So we went about targeting the on-premise sector first. On-premise, including bars, hotels, restaurants, clubs.
Yeah, so you made it demonstrative, right? So you
exactly. Okay. Exactly. I think word of mouth marketing is the most effective. So that's what we're shooting for. Have people come to the restaurant, try their favorite cocktail, maybe make a signature cocktail with our brand as well. And, just all around, just have people come to know the brand through tasting it, which I think.
Hold on. So I like that strategy, because although maybe, you need them you need to pull it through. You need to talk to the sommelier, or you need to talk to the bar manager, or you need to, and that requires boots on the ground. But you also circumvent traditional distribution, correct?
So yeah, so California is actually kind of unique because you can do your own direct sell strategy. You know, you don't exactly, you can sell the product directly to your retails. You know, it's
in California.
Yeah, and it actually varies by state. You know, there's a couple other states that are the same way, and then there's other states where you are forced to have a distributor, you know, as a to be compliant with the 3-tier system.
Correct.
But yeah, California's a little
explain that system. I'm familiar with it, but I want our viewers to really appreciate it.
Exactly. So there's a lot of brands. You know, you grow to a certain size where you basically can monopolize distribution of your product. You know, if you're humongous, you know, picture. You know, I don't want to name any brands in specific, but there's a lot of brands that have a lot of influence, and they can basically monopolize sales of their product. So in order to avoid this monopoly as such, you know, you have to be compliant with the 3-tier system, where you're forced to have a distributor or a middleman basically, you know, buy your product and redistribute it, so that you don't monopolize the distribution of whatever brands you're managing.
Correct.
Exactly.
All right. So this is a premium blend. How do I get it? So I see you have an e-commerce site. I'll put a link below for people to buy it. I am in New Jersey. Can you ship and sell in New Jersey?
Yes, definitely. You know, just the shipping cost might be a little a little pricey, but we can get it done.
So give me where you're at. Where are you heavy? You're heavy in California. Where else?
So we're in California for the time being, and we just entered the Arizona market as well. But you know, we're very picky when it comes to positioning. You know, we don't just want to sell the product anywhere, because you know, I think, as I mentioned, you know, key positioning is the key to, you know, correctly distribute your brand, especially in the ultra premium sector.
I like the mini gift pack. Ooh, and you have a Tequila. So basically, it's a tequila based limoncello. Oh, you froze up a little bit, Edgar. I'll give him a second. So while he is getting unfrozen, okay, let's shop the website. So we got the Blanco, $90, 109, Resposado, and Nejejo Jovan, and this looks interesting to me. Tequila, and that's $30, which is a good price, and interesting stuff. And I guess they have their e-commerce set up, so it's pretty easy to do. Feel free to brag a little bit about the process and what makes it premium.
Exactly. So I'll take this conversation all the way back to the fields. Okay. So currently, as part of our organic process, you know, we ourselves a lot on the sustainability aspect of our brand. So part of our organic side of things is that we place a huge emphasis on being sustainable. What do I mean by sustainable versus organic? You know, you can be an organic product that doesn't use maybe, you know, synthetic fertilizers and such, but you can have a huge negative impact on the ecosystem that you're based in. So for us, we take this initiative in what's called permaculture, which is basically permaculture being like a very smooth integration with your agricultural activities and the environments nearby. You know, we're talking no deforestation, we're talking no pollution of nearby rivers, you know, we're talking basically respecting the endemic species that are native to the regions. And you know, that's a huge part of the process for us. We also do high density agave plantations. So we basically have we use up less volume of land when it comes to planting agave. I think you may be muted, Tom.
Sorry, so I was checking out the site, and maybe car in the background. But so was it more the sustainability part? Was it more purpose driven, and then, you know, it turned out to be a great product, or that's what's needed in order to make it a superior product? So I want to understand the dichotomy, not dichotomy, but the infusion of purpose and making this a premium spirit.
Exactly. So this is more purpose driven. You know, it's just basically a core of our values. You know, we basically consider sustainability not just in the ecological side, but also sustainability goes far and beyond just, you know, ecological. So you have social sustainability, you have economic sustainability, which is also, you know, crucial for brands to survive and thrive. And then there's the, you know, the ecological side, which is what I'm discussing with the permaculture initiative.
Interesting. Okay, so you get into the US, you land some locations. What type of resources are needed? Meaning, so obviously you get, you have somebody land the accounts, you need salespeople, then you have
Right.
people manage the account, that kind of fun stuff, right? So, like, what's the measure of success? Is it the number of places stocked? Is it the reorder rate? I want to show people as you heading up this endeavor, what are some of the success factors? What do they look like?
Definitely. So, okay, so success for us is not exactly being present everywhere. As
Okay.
I mentioned, it's key positioning. So we're not looking for numbers exactly. We're looking for quality of places. And then I guess success far and beyond that also goes, in the reorder points as well. And it's important for a business to get accounts, to obtain new accounts and then grow those accounts. So we're talking about the customer lifetime value. For us, customers is, we don't just want to sell once. We want to build a relationship, and we want to grow that relationship and spread the word of the brand and the place that we're in as well. So I think that's what perfect positioning looks like. When back to the bragging part, when you brag about your brand and you brag about the places that you're in as well, it also serves for them to have more people just build brand awareness, attract
Okay,
more
so
people.
you hit it nail on the head, and I think that again, in the spirit game, in the liquor game, it's you got to get distribution, and then you got to get on the shelves, and we talk a little bit about that and how hard that is, right? But
Exactly.
you're taking the opposite approach. Don't get me wrong, we'll get it placed, but we want that relationship with the end user and the drinker, which a lot of these big companies are missing. So if you're able to kind of do that, that's great. The only thing though, that type of awareness costs money, right?
Right.
Not just physical money, but like whether you have a celebrity or whether you put out
Mhm.
PR. What's been your strategy there? Maybe share some of your earlier wins.
Right. So with regards to marketing, back to the positioning, we
Yeah.
want to get into key places, give them, if necessary, give them a sort of incentive, to have them onboard our product as well. And we're basically betting heavily on word of mouth advertising. So, we're in places where you'll have, a celebrity pop out every now and then
Yeah.
and, take a picture of it, post it on social media. And that's basically organic marketing. We don't want to be that brand that just shoves their brand on your face and,
So like we call that a whisper campaign where they'll take a picture
exactly.
of somebody at a famous place in LA. It happens to be in there. It's open. They're actually really drinking it. God forbid they actually really order it, or you get some assistance to get on the table. I like that. I like that thought process. What has been one of the challenges as a young entrepreneur? Again, you have your plan, right? And they always say, like Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan till you're punched in the face, right? So, what were some of the challenges that you had, and how did you overcome them, bringing Suave into the U.S.?
Right. So I think one of the punches on the face for us was definitely the oversaturation of the tequila market.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier in this podcast the whole premiumization of the industry. So it's the industry itself is branded. Everything has a brand, even a personal brand. Everyone has their brand, and the industry itself is branded as being a shot beverage. Tequila this, tequila that, and everyone that recalls tequila recalls a bad experience in college, and that's usually the tendency. So part of this rebranding process has been quite a challenge as well. And not only that, but you have about 3,000 other tequila brands, so it's been a bit of a challenge, having people see the difference in your product as well. And, this is the part when it comes to correct brand positioning. Get into key places and then have people prove the value of your brand by tasting it. I can talk for hours about my brand, but when it comes down to tasting it, that's when you'll realize the quality behind it.
Nice. Where do you spend more of your time, in Mexico or in the U.S.?
Yeah, so I'm more in Mexico. I go back to California about every month or so, just to check up on existing accounts. Try to build new ones if possible. But yeah, I'm more on the operative side here in Mexico.
Nice. So you have your market entrance. You get into, I like the on-site or on-premise, again, because although it's a little tough to get into, once you get in, you get in.
Right.
And I hear it all the time. People that travel for business, hey, give me a tequila. Oh wow, what's this one? Or it's innovative and new, so people are going to want to try it. And it is a premium one, which I like. I like the positioning. I like where it's at. And it looks like you are. And again, I'm a big believer in an inch wide, mile deep. I'd rather you be in California and really win that market and then come out east versus be in
Exactly.
every state and move one or two bottles.
Right.
So you got a little Arizona. What about the Vegas market and kind of migrating over east a little bit? What's your plan there?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, we're gonna try to conquer the Arizona market first.
Okay.
Correctly positioned there, and then basically the states that are bordering Arizona, we're going to target them next, and so on and so forth till we reach the eastern coast.
What's some of your learning on the taste? Like, what's the taste profile, and how is the palate of, like, say, an American tequila drinker versus maybe a Mexican tequila drinker?
Okay, so tequila itself, I think we have to take a step back and see the whole industry as a whole, how it has evolved recently. So it used to be a very artisanal product back in the early or late 1990s, and everyone loved tequila. Suddenly there's a huge boom, so people are mass producing tequila, and it kind of loses the essence of what the product was actually originally meant to be. So I think lately there's a growing tendency back to the artisanal methods.
Yeah.
And I guess if you view the tequila industry from the lens of being artisanal as such, I think the flavor profile that you're looking for, it's going to be very, very natural, very oily. You want that oily essence.
Yeah.
When you have a tequila in your glass and you swirl it a little bit, you'll see micro droplets basically stick to the walls of the glass. And if they're very slow moving, they're very viscous, that's usually a good indicator of the quality of your tequila. When it moves down, like
Legs with wine.
exactly, yeah. So you call that the crown of the tequila. And when you see it, move down really fast, it almost looks like water. That's probably not a good sign. And there's several other ways to identify visually whether your tequila is actually a high grade product or not. With regards to the taste itself, I would say it's actually a bit challenging to determine whether it is or not if your palate isn't, slightly trained. But if you see very notable vanilla flavors, something that doesn't almost seem natural, that's probably a little bit of a red flag there as well. You want consistency, you want very subtle taste profile, nothing too dramatic, nothing that drowns out all the other profile, all the other aromas, taste. That's what you're looking for.
Now, I like the idea of the on-premise. I like that strategy. However, when the tail end, and I won't say it out, but C-19
Mhm.
situation, pandemic, right? I want to
Right.
say then we really won't get any views. We'll get demonetized. But with that said, though, how did that affect? Like, how did you guys navigate through C-19 being kind of on-premise brand where people weren't coming? Well, how did you pivot? How did you navigate to stay afloat during that critical time?
Exactly. Yeah. So we actually shifted our strategy, into the off-premise, which is your regular retail stores. We also launched our e-commerce site as well.
Nice.
I think it was a huge. I think the C-19 factor was actually huge for a lot of companies because they got to find a way to survive. So everything went to online. A lot of stores that didn't have e-commerce sites, they kind of didn't have a choice. It was kind of like it just expedited the whole e-commerce side of things.
Nice. Now, were you equipped? Now, I do e-commerce in my day job. So obviously, in the liquor game, you could have a website, but then you have to be able to ship to each of the different states. Did you have license to ship to all of them during C-19, or did you have to kind of hurry up and get it done, during it? Like, were you positioned, or did you have to kind of scurry to get it done?
Yeah. So with regards to the licensing, as I mentioned, it's a little tricky in certain states. So that's where we relied more on third parties that we also partner up with for e-commerce shopping.
So outside of California, what's the number one most shipped state for your tequila right now from the e-commerce site? Just out of curiosity.
So I would say Illinois. A lot of friends and family out in Illinois. We talk about this word of mouth advertising. I think it's actually taken a bit of an impact. I would say Illinois has been a good state for us so far. New York City. We've had a little bit of movement over there as well. But I think one of the biggest barriers of entry or of people wanting to buy product online and ship it out there is the shipping fee. I think that's the biggest challenge.
Yes. One thing I like, and if you do it, you're welcome to, obviously, but you're not going the celebrity route. People kind of say, "Oh, you should just hire a celebrity." Well, they want a lot of equity. A lot of times they, are variable in their support. Obviously, if you get a Rock or somebody big, it's different. But I like the fact that you didn't go all in on the celebrity route. Did you guys ever discuss that, or was it always a no? Because I like the fact that you don't have a celebrity on board.
Okay, yeah. So 2 points to answering that question, or that comment you mentioned. So I was hearing one of your interviews with Jen. It's called Out of Your Comfort Zone.
Yeah, Jen.
And, I think that that topic in general just spoke volumes to me.
Nice.
I'm the kind of guy that as soon as I feel I'm in a comfort zone or I want to take the easy way out, I always stop myself and rethink that idea. Because I think once you enter your comfort zone, that's basically the end of you.
Good
It's
point.
always learning, doing things, challenging yourself, pushing yourself, and I think that's how you come out a better person in the end. So yeah, we've definitely had celebrities reach out to us, try to sponsor our brand, try to buy some stock, but we're very I wouldn't say we're opposed to it, but we just don't see the value in doing so because, as I mentioned, we don't want to be that brand that shoves Suave on your face. We want people to genuinely be curious about the brand, give it a shot or sip on it, and see for themselves what we're actually made of. So I think
I love it.
that's a question.
I'm going to put a link below. If they ship to your state, I recommend you trying it out. I'll put the link below. I'm curious to try it out. I'm going to. Okay, so final question. I'm
Okay.
excited about this brand. If you could sit and have a nice tequila with anybody dead or alive, who would it be and why?
With anybody that are alive, interesting. Okay. Um, I would say Elon Musk.
Wow, that would be interesting.
I think he's a huge, there's a lot of debate as to, the things he's doing, this and that. But I think in general, this guy is just, pretty incredible. I think he's accomplished a lot in very, in just a few years, honestly. He talks about going to Mars now, and I think it might just be a possibility. So, I think definitely drinking some tequila, maybe with his brand as well, compare flavor profiles. I think that should make for a really interesting conversation.
I love it. And like I said, the reason why I wanted to chat with Edgar, I like his journey as a young entrepreneur. It is a family business. They enter the U.S. market. It's not easy. There's again, like we talked about, a lot of temptation. Just hook up with a celebrity, let it go and test drive. But I like the fact that you're kind of doing brick by brick, steady by steady. We're gonna put a link below, so if you want to check out the tequila, you let us know. Tom, New Theory. If you do order it, let us know what you think about it. And Edgar, so we do have a lot of audio on the New Theory podcast. So some people may be driving, they may be working out. For those people who can't see the link, how can they find you or the brand, Edgar?
Yeah, a simple Google search. Just look up Suave Tequila. The website should be the first result on the Google search results. And we're always here for answering any other questions. I really love it when people are curious and they ask very interesting questions. It challenges me as well to think in different ways. So always here to help.
Awesome. Happy to have you on. I like your style. I can't wait to try the tequila. After I try it out, maybe we do a follow up episode. And Edgar, thank you so much for being on the New Theory podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tom.
Thank you.
Good